Have you ever wondered why, no matter how much you try to help your child succeed, they still struggle to show up? Or maybe you're doing everything right and it's still not working. If that sounds like you, you're not alone. So many parents are trying to motivate their kids, push them forward, help them become independent. And instead, we're met with resistance, anxiety, or complete shutdown. Welcome back to Turn the Lens Inward. I'm Lisa Taylor, and I help parents build stronger relationships with their teen or young adult children, not by controlling them, but by learning how to regulate themselves first. In today's episode, I'm sharing something very real and personal. My daughter struggled with traditional working environments, anxiety, and just dealing with the expectations that were set for her. So instead of forcing her into a system that wasn't working, we created something different and we built a business together. But this episode isn't really about the business. It's about questioning everything we've ever been taught. What success is supposed to look like, what work is supposed to look like, and why we're trying so hard to make our kids fit into boxes that might not be built for them. Because the truth is, you can't control whether your child shows up, but you can control how you show up. And sometimes the biggest shift in your child's life starts with a shift in you. So stick around because we're answering the question, what if helping your child thrive starts with letting go of control and finally turning the lens inward? My daughter and I own a residential cleaning business together. We started it in 2023. And one of the reasons that we started this business was because my daughter, as I've mentioned before, has a brain injury. And then she has some challenges with past anxiety. And those two things don't mix very well in regards to getting a job, having a job, getting up at a certain point in the day, in the morning, getting ready, getting yourself motivated to get out the door and go to work. Funny enough, I've been seeing a lot in my feed and having conversations with people out there around ADHD and the ADHD brain, and this being really one of the challenges. So when a child of ours, we want to motivate them, we want to inspire them to be independent and go earn money and be a great part of society. It can be challenging for them if they have something hindering them, not helping them to get out of bed in the morning. Sleeping through alarm clocks. I remember, oh my gosh, my daughter slept through so many alarm clocks. It was crazy. Anyway, so we start this business because she had gone down the road prior of having a job and not really being able, it just not meshing very well with her. And that's a hard thing for somebody who wants to be independent, wants to have a car, a place to live, feed themselves, be able to thrive in life, because that's really what our goal is, right? We want to thrive. We want to enjoy every moment. We want to live like there is no tomorrow, all of the cliches we can come up with right now. That's what we want to feel. And we want that for our kids. We want our kids to have a life because one day we're not going to be here. I know it's terrible to think about, but one day we're just not going to be here. We're not going to be able to protect them. They have to be able to get up and make a living. Quick interruption. 92% of you aren't subscribed. And I just want to say I really appreciate you being here. If you'd hit follow or subscribe, it genuinely helps more than you think. That's what grows a podcast and gets it in front of the parents who need it most. Okay, let's get back to it. There was a point where she was working some retail, specifically at Tim Hortons, and I would get a phone call. She was in the bathroom, she was having a panic attack, or the overstimulation from the customers, the speed of which everything had to happen in the restaurant. She is a very high functioning, intelligent woman, and she would be on the coffee station or the food prep station because you had to be a little bit savvy and smart. So, wanting to do a really good job and also dealing with challenges such as her brain being overstimulated or anxiety kicking in, it just didn't work. And we had a conversation with the manager, and she was empathetic, understanding, but what do you want? What do you want from me? I need someone who can come and do the job and then leave. And this really is what a job looks like. It, everybody, all of us, we all face this. So it's not unique to our kids who are struggling with things in life. So I just question why in these moms groups, I see the moms showing up for the kids all the time. I see them saying, okay, so my kid needs a summer job. My kid is hardworking and trustworthy, and they're gonna come and they're gonna show up for their job. So there's all these moms advocating for their jobs right now, for jobs for their kids in moms groups. I mean, I found myself doing it. I found myself doing it with an ex-boyfriend, to be honest. But there's the concept of we can only control what we can control. And what can we can control? We can control us, right? Turn the lens inward. We've got all the control. We don't have control of all these external things going on of our kids and hoping that they're going to show up and hoping that they're going to do a good job. We don't have control of that. So why are we trying to control our kids getting a job? And I also would like to just question, why do you want them to go to school and get a job and then come out of school in debt? Sure, they're going to have some type of certificate in hand in order to say, okay, so I've done this, but they're going to be in debt. There aren't jobs available in their fields. Everybody is talking about this. We've got baby boomers who haven't retired yet. Then we've got Gen X's who are probably even going to stay in the workforce longer. We want our kids to be able to have a family, have a car, have a home, just general, regular things that it's really difficult for, I'm going to say, mostly Gen Zs right now, kids in high school, to have a job. And I really thought, okay, if it's not working, if my kid is calling me to come pick her up, the manager's saying, if you can't stay, I've got to let you go, then we had to create something. And that's where this whole business came along. And that has given my daughter a opportunity to be in control of how much money she makes, when she works, how she works, who she works with. And it's teaching her so many skill sets that you can't learn in school. I I just challenge, why in society do you want us so badly to send our kids to school and come out in debt and then there's no jobs for them? Do we understand this concept? Are we getting this? Is this making sense to us? Maybe you have an experience similar. We've got to get rid of the old mindset, people. We've got to let go of the old, recognize we're here in 2026. This is a new time. Things are different. They're going to be different even more in the future. There's the introduction of AI. We've got robots coming down the road. And I might be a little bit freaky about this right now, but I'm trying to be rational. I'm trying to be forward thinking. I'm trying to think, what if you were to teach your kid to be creative and somehow turn that into an income? That can even be working for somebody else. We don't want to force somebody to go and make minimum wage doing something that they hate, they're never going to get out of bed for. and create this society of people who are dead inside. Maybe that's kind of where we are right now. We're in a society where passion doesn't exist 100%. So I'm just going to preface this right here. Entrepreneurship is an amazing opportunity for anybody, any age. My daughter came to me last week and she said, "Okay, I want to start taking over the Instagram account. I want to have access to that." So, what what we can do with our kids, we can take them along the journey. We can hold their hands on the way and teach them how to live life to the best of their ability. Have we talked to them about making a budget? Have we talked to them about money? Have we talked to them about the challenges of working for somebody else? Have we talked to them about only having 3 weeks of vacation for a whole out of a whole 52 weeks in a year? Have we talked to them about what it looks like to be subservient to somebody that you don't necessarily respect in the workplace? Have we talked to them about, "Hey, what do you love to do? Could what is it that you do specifically that you love, and how do we grow that so that we can turn it into something that you're gonna love the rest of your life doing?" And that really is the challenge, isn't it? How do we aid and help our kids to maneuver this hard life? This hard life. It's not always perfect. In fact, I wanna meet someone who has a perfect life, who's had everything so beautiful before them and never had any internal challenges or traumas or obstacles that it doesn't exist. So why don't we as parents, especially parents of kids that aren't living up to that potential that I've talked about, that I wanted to instill in my kid? It may not be my version of what I want her life to look like, but it can be her version of what I want her life to look like. So let's break this down. We got a cleaning business. Is this what my daughter wants to wake up and jump out of bed every day to do, is to go clean? Not every day. No, it can be tiring. It can be physically challenging, but she has control of the people that are working for us, who she's working with. She has control over who our clients can be, the people who we market to and respond. And then we go and we see if it's a good fit or not. She has control of the hours in her day. So we tend to start earlier and then finish sort of mid-afternoon, 5 o'clock at the latest. We choose not to work on the weekends. We choose not to work on stat holidays. We could go full force, guns a-blazing, but what do we need in order to live our best life today? Of course, there's sacrifices. There's sacrifices when you're building a business. And I have been teaching my daughter this. And you know the sacrifices that you've had to make in your life to get what you want. Are you sharing those sacrifices with your kids? Are you being vulnerable and telling them the things that might not necessarily be something that is the most inspirational story in your life? It might actually be of failure. Have you noticed that failure is a big topic these days, and that the people who have the most success in life failed the most? So instead of putting so much pressure and stress on our kids to get A's, to go post-secondary, to get into debt, to come out with a piece of paper and no plan And I'm telling you, there is no plan, guys. There's no plan coming out right now of school. Who do you know? What do you know? What kind of relationships do you have with those people? That's how people are getting hired these days. We love to hire people from our church, from other people that a lot of the mothers who have been in my community on social media, they were the ones who said, "Hey, my daughter's looking for a job." So we have cleaners cleaning for us right now, and they're rarely did we find somebody on Indeed who worked out perfectly. We've had many challenges finding people who are willing to work hard, follow direction, show up. I mean, these are simple tasks in life. And this is what we've got an entire society full of. So you know that your kid is special. You know that your kid has a potential to have whatever it is they want. How willing are you to take your own beliefs and expectations off of them and allow them to pursue being them and going down that road of really just trying things out until they find something that works for them? I feel that we are supposed to be the mirror for our kids. And again, we're not perfect either. So, how are you showing up? And have you fully looked at who you are and how you represent yourself, your integrity, your core values, your beliefs? Are you a kind person? Have you maybe come from something where you've turned yourself around or you're in the process of turning things around and changing things for the better, but you're not there yet? These are all things that are okay, and we're all going through it. Again, have some grace with yourself, but also have some grace with your kid. This child of yours is somebody who you created. You brought them up. I know we can be angry and frustrated with them, and we cannot understand them, but let's open up our hearts. This is something I've been working on actually recently, is opening up my heart and calling in love. And it's been very eye-opening at how closed off I am to other people and being in front of them and sharing who I am with them. So that's something that I've been working on as I point the lens inward, noticing, okay, these 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 experiences with you human beings out there, they're very important. And I really feel that our purpose is to find out what our purpose is and two, who our partner is going to be. And so exuding that, my daughter is witnessing my growth and my epiphanies and how I'm showing up in the world. And I've noticed that she's also instinctively starting to show up with more integrity, more wanting to be kind and wanting to give and serve others, and all while enjoying her day, enjoying riding her motorbike, enjoying the people that she works with, enjoying nature, enjoying cooking. She started cooking. There's all these things that we can open up to as parents and humans to be better, to show up, to make a change in this world. to create human beings and nurture these human beings because they're going to be the ones in charge of our future. And if that scares you, maybe you got some work to do. And when I say you have work to do, really decide, how do I want to show up for my kid? And if you want to change things, just start with one thing. And maybe it's being more supportive, more available. Maybe there's things you could do with your children that they've never done with you before, that don't require money or material items or life lessons. Life lessons. Oh, my daughter used to tell me, Mom, everything that comes out of your mouth is a life lesson. And I mean, who wants a mother like that? Who wants a person who every single time you're with them, you know you're being analyzed, you know you're being judged. And yet I wasn't perfect either as I was judging her. So really pull up that mirror. Next time you're in the washroom, look in the mirror and really truly look at yourself. And I want you to ask yourself, what am I really good at? What this is amazing about myself and that's amazing about myself. And what am I lying to myself about? And what do I need to do to change that? And then, am I being the parent that I always wanted to be, that I always wanted to have? And if you're not, that's okay. You've got all the answers. You don't have to follow what they say to do in a Facebook group. You're a free thinking, intelligent individual, and you have intuition, and you know that you don't need to ask 6 people or follow the people down the street or across the street or your boss. You don't need to. You need to do what's right for you in your situation with your family in order to help prepare them for what is coming in the future. And I really question this whole let's send them to school thing. And I know it's bizarre because I was the person who the only thing I wanted to do up until I was 18 years old was go to university. And I did. And I am proud of it. But do you know how long it's taken me to find what it is that I am really good at and what I love to do? And it's been hours and hours and hours and hours of learning, educating, training, going inside, trying something. Oh, that didn't work. Trying something. Oh, that really didn't work. And I could have done that without a piece of paper. I really could have. And I'm just asking you to rethink the concept. I'm really great at building business, really great at building business. I'd love to shoot some ideas alongside you and maybe for your kid. And here's another thing that I think that I did mention the budgeting thing. Since living and the financial situation in our world right now is so up in arms and living does require money. I'm not saying, hey, don't make any money. You got to make some money. I'm saying, let's start teaching our kids about the future and how to not spend every single penny of your paycheck and live week to week, month to month. Learn how to invest. Learn about money and how it works and how business works. And you can do that by listening to podcasts, YouTube. You can align yourself with credentials, like people who are financial advisors, people who know about money. And when you're going to go choose somebody like that, choose somebody that you trust. Choose somebody that you know when you're with them, oh, they're a good person and they're here to serve other people. They're not here just to make money. Because I think the two go hand in hand. So that's my little rambling podcast for today. I am so proud of my daughter and what she's accomplished. I'm proud of myself and what I'm accomplished. I'm proud of what a lot of people that I see out there doing. Just those little steps, one step at a time, changing their lives, making things better. But be open. Be open to thinking about things a little bit differently today in 2026 because we've never been here before. It's all new and it's your God-given right to thrive. So let's all go thrive together.